If you guys enjoy what I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it's free and easy to do. Before we get started with today's video, I have an announcement to make. After years of telling other people's stories, I finally released one of my own. My novel Eternal Reign is available now in both ebook and paperback format for those of you who are like me and prefer to collect physical media. You can grab a copy right now on Amazon through the link in the description of this video. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Maëlle is still not doing well the next morning, so Verso tries to make her feel better, but there's nothing that anyone can say to someone who's lost a family member to make it better, so he gives her Gustav's journal and they all head out. The path to the monolith that Verso knows goes through a quarry that is filled with a lot of dead expeditioners. There's a highly dangerous Nevron that wanders around the area, so he wants to get through the place as fast as possible, but Maëlle wants to bury the last piece of Gustav that she has before they get back to the mission. Lune has a very one-track mind and doesn't want to waste the time, but it's obvious to everyone else that Maëlle needs this, so Ciel wants to find a nice spot for her. Verso has buried a lot of friends, so he knows of a place and is right through the quarry, so the group gets moving. For a while, Verso thinks that they won't have to deal with the single Nevron that killed all of the expeditioners that came through the area. But when they make it to a bridge near the spot that they wanted to go to, a big sword-wielding Nevron destroys it and sends the group falling down to a spot that should have killed them. Since they live, they have to put down the very strong creature before they can move forward, and after a very brutal battle, they manage to win. With that over and done with, they make it to the place that Verso was talking about, and they give Gustav his final send-off before setting up camp and planning out their next step. Verso says that they need to go to Monoko Station to get his oldest friend to join their team because they'll need the extra muscle for the next step of taking down the Paintress's heart. Walking up to the Paintress's monolith is impossible. The chroma around it is so thick that it erases anyone who gets close, but destroying a heart will break the barrier. The heart is somewhere in Old Lumiere, but Verso has no idea what it looks like. Before the fracture, the city of Lumiere, where the expeditioners came from, was a part of a much larger city on the main continent, and Expedition 58 had found the place. Verso had been with them, but Renoir showed up and erased the entire expedition. Monoko Station is up in the mountains and covered in snow, something that Ciel is eager to see since it doesn't snow in Lumiere, and her husband had been fascinated by it before he died. Monoko is a gestural searcher, one of the ones who travels the world looking for any gestural who was lost during the fracture, which is one of the main reasons why he doesn't live in the village. That and the fact that he made Golgra want to kill him. The first thing that the gestural does when Verso and the others show up is attack them because that's what they all do. But Monoko has a unique fighting style that they don't really get to see because their fight is cut short when Noko comes running in saying that a really big Nevron is attacking the station. Since there is guests, Monoko gives the expedition the honor of fighting the thing, mainly because he's afraid of fighting that particular type of Nevron due to multiple bad experiences on his other adventures with Verso. When they kill it, he shows off his very weird ability. He steals the thing's foot and uses it to transform into the Nevron. It's one of the oddest abilities that any of them have seen, and Verso still doesn't know why he can do it, but it's very useful. Now that the fighting's over, Verso tells Monoko that they're all about to head to Old Lumiere, which immediately makes the gestural tell them good luck and he's not going since the last trip didn't go well. But this time they have Maëlle with them, so Verso thinks that'll make a difference for reasons that he hasn't told the others. Monoko still says he's never going anywhere with Verso again until he points out that they will definitely be doing a lot of fighting, which makes him change his mind. Noko wants to go too since very few merchants have gone to the city, and since Monoko considers himself a responsible parent, taking his son to one of the most dangerous places in the world seems like a great idea, so they all head off to Old Lumiere. Monoko notices really fast that this is the most depressed expedition that he's ever been a part of, which makes sense since they've had a much worse start than any of the others. He does have an idea on how to cheer them up a bit, but it hurts Verso a lot to do it, since it will give the 3 remaining members of Expedition 33 something else to focus on, or cause them to have a heart attack. He agrees to do it. Verso is really immortal, which means he's ended up in some bad spots, including being cut in half. He's been broken apart so many times that he's learned how to talk out of both halves of his body. I don't want to know what he uses for lips and a tongue on his bottom half, but the others spend all night asking him questions, which does make them forget about how miserable they are, at least for a little while, and it makes the trip to Old Lumiere just a bit more pleasant. Old Lumiere is in ruins with no clear path to the center. Fortunately, Monoko is able to knock down a building to clear out a path. The bad news is he does it in the least OSHA-approved way possible and causes Maëlle and Verso to get knocked somewhere far away from Lune and the others. They're pretty sure that they'll meet them at the Paintress's heart in the center of the city, so they head there. On the way, Ciel finds another one of Esquia's stones, which he'll probably find useful, so she takes it. They also see a very large and very dead creature next to a journal that was left behind by Expedition 58. The journal says that the dead thing was something called an axon, but it also has some information about Verso that makes Lune think that finding him and Mael needs to happen immediately. Mael, Verso, and Noko had survived Minoko's explosive demolition, but when they got into a fight with some Nevrons, Verso disappears. Noko says that he does that sometimes, so Mael keeps going until she comes to a mansion that seems familiar to her. It looks a lot like the manor that the curator was keeping her in, and when the door opens, a female Nevron that could be the curator's twin is inside. Verso reappears and tries to rush in, but Renoir is there too, as well as Alicia, and they keep him outside. Renoir is still trying to convince him that he's on the wrong side, but Mael doesn't want to do anything but stab the man since he killed Gustave. He's kind of surprised that she'd be okay with working with Verso since he turns out to be Renoir's son. That was what Lune had discovered in the journal, something she reveals when she and the others show up. She wants to chew Verso out about keeping his family connection to their greatest enemy a secret, but since Verso really wants his new friends to live through what's about to happen, he tells them that he'll explain it after they fight Renoir. The fight doesn't go as poorly as their earlier run-ins with the man, but his most devastating attack does kill Noko. Time freezes for everyone except for Mael after that, and Alicia comes out of the house. She touches Mael, showing her a vision of the house being on fire before time unfreezes and the entire mansion vanishes along with Renoir. The group really needed to get inside of the house if they were going to get to the Paintress, but with it gone, the only thing that they have to show for their trip is another lost friend. While the mission was a bust, Lune still wants Verso to explain why he hadn't told them that Renoir was his father. He hasn't talked to the man in decades, and to be honest, he didn't think it was any of their business since it had nothing to do with what they were doing. Some of the stories that Lune's heard say that the Gestrels can be brought back to life, but according to Minoko, when they come back, they're not exactly the same. Their memories are gone, so the Noko who had been traveling with them is gone for good. So on this little trip, they lost a friend, and without access to the Paintress's heart, there is no easy way to reach her. Expedition 58's journal said that Verso does know another way to get through the barrier, which he does, but he didn't think it was worth mentioning since it's impossible. It involves the Curator Nevron. He can make a weapon that's powerful enough to break the barrier if they get the hearts of the Axons, which are pure chroma. The Axons are extremely large creatures that live on the islands around the monolith, and they are so strong that Verso is almost positive that the expeditioners can't beat them. He's fought them, and even though he's immortal, he couldn't win. There was a dead one in Old Lumiere, so they can be killed, but he has no idea who did that, and he doesn't want to have to bury his new friends when they fail to bring one down. Since they're dying in a few months anyway, Lune and the others have no reason not to go. Since they're not going to be talked out of this, Verso helps them plan. There are 3 Axons in total, and they'll need to take down 2 of them to get what they need. One is too high up in the mountains for them to reach, but there's one that's already been weakened from fighting other expeditioners. So Verso wants to start with that one to give them a chance. Lune thinks that's a good idea, so after getting a bit of sleep, they all set off to fight the strongest creatures in the world so they can get their hands on a weapon that'll let them face off against the thing that made them. And that's where we're going to stop for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, comment, share it, and subscribe. Grab a copy of my novel on your way out, and I'll see you all next time.